Okay. Squad. I love you guys. I'm grateful for you. But listen, this morning I'm going to talk to you as if I was talking to 50,000 people in a stadium. Thank you, God, in advance that you get the glory. And so I want you to get your pen and your paper out. I know some of us, we've gotten acquainted. Do not allow proximity to spoil the message. Do not allow closeness to allow you to get comfortable with this message. But I want to thank you guys for being on the line. Listen, some of us, listen, we've been about it, right? We've been doing this thing for real. And so today, if I can name this talk anything, I would like to name it Seed, Soil, Sun. Write it down. Seed, soil, sun. Seed, soil, sun. When I think about how I want to share my story with you, the truth is I do have to write a book or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, you know? But today, when I talk about giving you the mindset that it takes, not just for where you want to be, but for also the places that God has not even exposed to you yet. I think that the proper way to do this is in order to talk about seed, soil, sun. So I want to talk about the seed first. You know, recently there's been so much conversation about what makes you the way you are. I have people ask me, how are you so confident? I'm going to give you the answer. Because I built it, because I fought for that, because I read about confidence. I studied confidence. How are you so postured? Because I read it, because I fought for it. Let me tell you, I can honestly say, you guys, I was born with 0 entrepreneurship qualities. I do not naturally lead. I do not naturally speak without getting nervous. I do not naturally coach you without wondering, are you going to listen and am I saying the right thing? There is nothing that I possess that you want that came natural. But here's the good news. Nearly everything that I possess that you think you want, nearly everything that a coach or a mentor possesses that you think you want is a skill set. And the good news is it doesn't matter who you are and how you came into this space. You can always grow a skill set. Thank you, God, that it's a skill set. Thank you that the things that I thought were a personality type are not. It's a skill set. Sex is a skill set. Leadership is a skill set. Posture is a skill set. Do you know why that's so important? Because then that means you can grow it. Because this world has us believe you got to kind of just be born with some things. The good news is you can grow it. I would not waste my breath if I did not think that every single one of you were not capable of growing the skill sets. Seed, soil, sun. But there is one skill set that I do believe gave me an advantage. And it was not something I was born with. It was something that I gained out of self-preservation as a child. It was something that I learned to do so I could escape my reality. And I learned to imagine. I was a huge daydreamer. I got in trouble all the time for daydreaming. Specifically 4th grade, Miss Kelly. Oh, she would come around with a ruler and she wouldn't really hit your hand. She would just make you think she was about to hit your hand and snap me out of it. And her only complaint was, you need to snap out of it. What Miss Kelly didn't know is that there was a lot going on at home. There was a lot going on that forced me to kind of go into my mind and to live in the safe place, in the place where no one can hurt you, where no one can touch you, where no one can take from you. But God used it, you guys. I want you to know when I talk about the seed, I'm talking about imagination. Some of you have got to give yourself permission to imagine again. Some of you have got to give yourself to daydream again, to qualify yourself again. I know that the number one law of success is I've got to have a definite chief aim. I've got to have a clear, concise point. It's got to be stupid clear, you guys. $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, $86,666.66 per year. You got to get intimate with it. If you want 6 figures a year, how much is that per month? $8,666.66. That's a little bit over $2,000 per week. That's a little bit over $200, $300 a day. What can you bring value to the world so that you can earn that? Listen to me. You got a powerful vehicle in your hands, but some of us got to get back to imagining. And the reason that I believe that the seed is so important is because I live in the same reality that you live in. I'm looking around the world and I have the same external world that you have. And I see war and I see conflict and I see chaos, and it is heartbreaking. And I need you to know that if you keep paying attention to the external world, when it's off its course, that it'll suck you right in. This is a season where there's more depression, anxiety, confusion than I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not the only one saying this. Pastors are saying this. World leaders are saying this. Pediatricians are saying this. Something is happening. There is a spiritual shift. There's not just a financial shift. The financial shift is evidence of a spiritual shift. I need y'all to get with it. Success is a spiritual thing. And so I learned at a very early age how to escape into my mind. And I had this fantasy that someday that this man would knock on my door and that he would introduce himself as my father, and that the big gag would be that he was very wealthy and that he came into my life to find me. And so for a long time, I thought I had to be discovered. You don't have to be discovered. You need to discover yourself. And so my seed was imagination. My saving grace was imagination. Thank you, God, that I allowed myself to escape into my mind. Because now as an entrepreneur, now as someone who's focused on these big dreams, guess where I have to live, you guys? I have to live in my internal world. I have to live inside my imagination. I struggle too with having a definite chief aim. If I ask you right now, what is your dominating thought? Go. And you're not able to rattle it off, beware, you're in trouble. But guess what? That's a skill set. You can build it. Spend more time in here. Who do you want to be? For real, for real. And here's the thing. When I first started doing that, I didn't know. When I first started practicing escaping into my imagination and seeing myself in a future, I want you to know that all probabilities are possible. So whatever your goal is, I want to dare you to 10 times it, because I know you're thinking too small. I want to dare you to 10 times it. Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? What are you going to look like? What are you going to smell like? What product's going to be in your hair? What perfume is going to be on your skin? I need you to get so intimate with it that you can taste it. And it's going to take you a while to build that internal world, to build that imagination. But now, you guys, here's the gift. It took about 3 years, to be honest, for me to really see myself in a future that was worthy. For me, what I call it my $1 billion self, right? To know my $1 billion self, I can see her. I can smell her. I can hear her voice. But it took me a long time to get intimate with that woman, because I was more intimate with what? With my reality. I was consumed by my external world, just like you are. Perhaps the biggest information you're going to hear today is that your internal world is much bigger than your external world. So you should be spending way more time in here than out here. Flip it and watch what your life does. This is why prayer and gratitude is so important. This is why meditation is so important. This is why deep breathing is so important. Scanning yourself, checking in is so important. To me, the mind, those thoughts, they are the seed. What is your seed? If it's in my hand right now, what is your seed? My seed was I lived inside my mind well before I even knew that it was a wealth strategy. And I want to give that to you. Some of you are looking around at your situation and you don't like what it looks like. This past weekend, we went to an event and I had the pleasure of hosting an amazing woman on the line, Jamelia. She got to come to my house. I'm so excited. We got to spend time together. She was in my guest room. We rode to the event every single day. You guys, we happen to have an ultra VIP wristband, one only. So it only made sense to give it to her. And I told her, I said, listen, when you're experiencing this weekend, I know you got a baby back at home. I know you're going through some things. I know you're just a regular family out of the Bronx. But this weekend, I want you to brainwash yourself. And I want you to pretend this is your house and I'm visiting you. And I want you to pretend this is your car and I'm driving you around. And I want you to pretend when you're at that ultra VIP table near the millionaires that I'm your guest. And we called it a chairman experience. It was our little secret. And I know that her life has changed forever because she got to see and smell and taste and touch, and her mind can never go back. Her mind can never go back. Do that for yourself. The truth is, you don't need me to bring you to my house. You don't need me to ride you around in my nice car. You don't need me to bring you around my $1 million friends. You can do all of that faster and quicker right in here. What does it look like? Some of you are seeing it. I can feel it. What does that look like? And you need to make that your definite chief aim. Set an alarm on your phone. Train yourself, because you're not going to do it in the beginning. Train yourself, set an alarm and say, I'm going into my internal world real quick. I could see my $1 billion self. This is the easiest way to do it. Pick a moment in time that $1 billion self would be experiencing. Maybe it's breaking ground on a school in a country you have a heart for. Maybe it's paying off your mama's house. Maybe it's eradicating debt for your grandparents and your parents. I don't know what that moment is. For me, that moment is putting all of my in-laws in a private aircraft and taking them to an estate in St. Lucia that we own. That's my moment. Find your moment and groom that seed. 2, soil. Now you have the seed. Saddest thing is the world, as I see people all the time that have their seed, but they're so terrified that they never plant it. They think that it's meant for them to keep it in their pocket. They think that it's meant for them to put in their hand right here and to walk around and go, look at my seed. I got one, Wanda. I have dreams. I have dreams, Wanda. I have goals right here. You see it? And they carry this thing around for the rest of their life. And they get to the end of their life and the tears roll down their cheek, and they look at their seed and they say, why didn't you ever do anything, seed? Why didn't you ever grow, seed? Why would you give me this, God? Because you didn't understand that it had to have soil. The soil is the action. The soil is your network of friends. You cannot ask God to bless something and you give him nothing to bless. You cannot be locked up in your house and ask him to move. He would have to literally introduce a robber in order to get you out of your home, to expand your business. That seed, you will get to the end of your life and you will regret not planting that thing. How do I know that? Because before I was an entrepreneur, I was a nurse. And I think God had me be a nurse for a season to see something that was radical. It didn't matter if it was a 9-year-old little girl who just got diagnosed with a terminal disease, or if it was an 89-year-old man on his last days. When you look death in the mirror, all of a sudden you realize what matters. And all the things that matter to you, oh, they don't matter no more, guys. They don't matter. All the things that are your dominant thought right now, you're going to get to the end of your life, and not only are they not going to matter, but you're going to be angry that they stole time from you. I remember literally being bedside in a hospice situation with an amazing gentleman. You guys, he lived an incredible life. He traveled the world. He had medical offices. His children were surgeons. They were very successful. He had an amazing life. And towards the end of his life, he didn't like to talk to a lot of people. So kind of our gag, our inside joke is he would act like he was crazy. Literally, he would say crazy things to make the staff leave the room because he just wanted to be by himself. The only person he wanted around was his wife. And somehow God allowed me to have favor with this gentleman. And we spent a lot of time together. And he was a talker. Oh man, he was a talker. But because of his disease towards the end of his life, he really couldn't get air like that. So he would hold my hand and he would say, I just want to hear you talk. Y'all, for 8 hours. He just wanted to hear me tell stories. He just wanted to hear me talk. And one day when he got a little bit of the gusto to say a couple things, he said to me, you know, I've been doing a lot of thinking. And I just regret not doing more directly for more people. And I said, Doc, what do you mean by that? You gave to your church. You were part of an amazing ministry. You had a powerful business. You served so many families as a doctor. And he said, no, Wanda, I could have done so much more. It could have been so much bigger. And now I'm thinking back, and I had a lot of busy days. And I regret the busy days. I want you to understand that we are all going to have our moment in time. We're here for just this long. You know, you don't think that when you're like 19, 20, 21, 22. When people talk like that, you're like, so far away. Then you get to like 30 and you reevaluate yourself. You're like, wait, am I old yet? Then life starts to happen and you realize, man, I might have less life left than I've lived. That might be true. What have I done? You start to regret what survival has taken from you. Survival will take your time. It'll take your mind. It'll take your energy. It'll cause you to have stress. You start to regret that you got into the rat race of just surviving. And what I want you to know is that life can be difficult. So if it's going to be hard, why not go all in? If it's going to be hard, why not stand out? Why not do it? Why not just see what happens? If it's going to be hard, then make it worth it. Pick your hard. Sometimes we fall right into the life that we think we want, and it's difficult. And we're saying, man, this isn't really what I had envisioned for myself. It kind of just happened, a series of decisions. Here I am. And what you're saying is, I didn't get to pick my hard. So I want you to know that you can pick your hard. Where you are, the atmosphere you're in, the conversations you entertain, the books that you read or don't read is all a decision. It's all your soil. Your reality is your soil. So what kind of soil do you need to have so that you can groom that seed up to something more? For me, the soil is constantly renewing my mind. New information, new thought, new neuron, new reality. You with me? And so I'm constant. My husband says, I study, I do. I found out that I can have a transformed mind. And it's been the most radical information that I needed. And when I have a transformed mind, I have a transformed reality. My soil is being tilled. If I didn't have my landscapers come pick the junk out of my flower beds every week, you guys, it would not look good. Every week, sometimes more. If there's a storm, they got to come again. If there's extra rain, they got to come again. Whenever there's something that happens, they got to come so that my flower bed, my garden, is constantly tended to. You went to one conference 2 years ago and you wonder why your soil's starting to harden up. You found a rock in it. There's some critters in it. It's like a shower. How often do you do it? I do really believe that you should transform your mind several times a day. Waking up with prayer and gratitude. Having a task list, knowing what your exact definite chief aim is today. Reading, getting counsel, getting mentorship. Congratulations, you are transforming and renewing your mind right now. New information, new neurons, new firing and wiring, new reality. So let's talk about your soil, because that's where the work is. You guys ever seen anybody garden? I have a lady at the end of my street. She makes all of us look bad, for real. This woman's garden, it's unreal. She should charge people to come look through it. It's that good. She's basically made her own Japanese tea garden at her house, you guys, all in her front yard. There's hardly any greenery left. All around the side of her house, you can see the trees and bushes beautifully pouring out from the gate. When I go around the back, because I'm a creep like that, I go and I can see that it continues around the back. She took no shortcuts. And when I'm leaving my house at 7:15, 7:20 a.m. to drop my kids off at school, she's finishing up for the day. Been out there for hours, her knees covered in mud, her face covered in sweat, a big old smile, a pair of scissors, measuring tape. Oh, it's real. It's the work. So when I pass by her garden, I used to just go, look at how beautiful the flowers are. Now I go, look at the hours of life that are evident. What does your garden look like? Are the hours of your life evident in your mindset? That's your garden. See, it's different. I can't walk by you and see it, but in one conversation, I get an idea of what it looks like. In one conversation, I go, oh, there's some weeds in there. They're not ready for me to tell them yet. There's some rocks in there. They're not ready for me to tell them yet. Lord, soften their heart and give me the words, because I'm going to offend them. Because no one's ever told them they got weeds in their garden. No one's ever told them, oh, sis, that bush is ready to be pulled out. They're going to get offended. Soften their heart, renew their mind. What does your soil look like? And are you tending to it daily? You fill your mind and your mind will fill your wallet. Listen to me. If there's one thing that I can tell you, if this is it, if I'm done right here, if you never hear from me again, I want you to fall madly and deeply in love with transforming and renewing your mind. That is your ultimate job every single day. And if you can make it several times a day, even better. Transform and renew your mind. Transform and renew your mind. Notice it's transform and renew. Transform, change the form of it. Do you know that when you read, after 8 weeks of journaling and or reading, you actually change the shape of your brain? For those of you who suffer with depression and anxiety, if you start reading, the parts of your brain that handle emotional things, I'll say, really the neurons and the chunks of your brain that handle that, they actually change shape. If you want to have real transformation, changing the shape of your brain, journal for 8 weeks, every single day, right? This is studied. This is not new. This is neurology. Literally, the brain changes form and shape. Transform and renew, to make new again. I always wonder why they didn't just say one or the other. Because we need to put new information in to change the shape of the brain, and then we need to accept it to change the shape of our life. Renew. New information, new firing and wiring, new thoughts, new reality. What does your soil look like? This is the part that we have to tend to. This is where you get the work put in, guys, is the renewal and the transformation of your soil. What are you listening to? What conversations are you entertaining? What books are you reading? What are you filling your day with? Listen, be very careful that you do not fall into the agenda of being someone who just sits back and says, entertain me, numb me, entertain me, make me numb, scrolling, make me numb, video games, make me numb. I don't want to feel. You don't realize you're depressed. You think you're just entertaining yourself. Really, what's happening is there's new chemicals now that are being released every time you pick your phone up, every time you pick the video game controller up, every time you pick the remote up, the body goes, there it is. Now I get to go numb. Now I don't have to think about all these things racing in the back of my mind. So you don't know that it's your heroin. You think it's cool. What's happening is you are teaching yourself to be hooked to constantly being entertained. When my children say I am bored, it is an offense to my last name. We literally will have an entire conversation. How can you be bored when you have neighbors who need things? How can you be bored? You can go across the street and you can help the neighbor pick weeds out of their lawn. You can help mommy with laundry. You can help your little brother read a book. You can go find a friend. How can you be bored in a world that needs service? There is no such thing as I am bored. That is a made up word. Board is a piece of plank used to build homes. There is no other type of board. It is an offense to your existence, and it's an offense to our last name for you to be bored in a world full of need. How selfish that you believe that you are here to be entertained. Entertained, entertrained. You are being trained to constantly needing to be entertained. Be careful. It's the highest, most popular form of drug. And guys, lastly, the last thing I want to talk about, your seed. You need to start living in your imagination, you guys. You got to start seeing it. You know, when I ask someone, what's your goal? And they're like, I want to make $5,000 a month. I can tell when they say it, they are not intimate with it. I can tell that they're only saying it because they think that's what I want to hear. You'll know because I don't ever push. Oh, cool. Nice goal. Move on. I need you to spend time with it so that it can become your definite chief aim. So when someone says, what's your goal? $50,000 a month. Just rattled off. What's your goal? $100,000 a month. How are you going to get there? I need to help 5 people go do this. I need to sell 100,000 of these. I need to go do this. I need an XYZ, because you're so intimate with it. If I ask you about your favorite recipe, right? Your mama's lasagna, your mama's greens. If I ask you, you're going to be like, no, she don't use paprika. She used this, because you're intimate with it. What about you? What you want? There is a calling in you. That's why you're here. There's something in you that can't shake it. That's why you're here. But you got to take it past that. You have to have an absolute solid conviction on what your goals are. You have to know. You have to be ready. I have a daughter that sings, right? But she's also really shy. She's amazing, but she's really shy. And so every once in a while, we're one of those families. Baby, sing something real quick. And she's like, I don't know what do I sing? What do I sing? I don't know. What do you want me to sing? I don't know. Sing something. Oh, I don't. And so what happens? What happens when someone has this gift, right? And they don't know what to sing? What do you start doing? You start giving them ideas. I know. I need you to sing national anthem. You don't even know their octave. You don't know their gift. You don't know their runs. You don't know their pitch. But now you start telling them what to sing, and what do? They start singing it. And then what happens? Oh, this ain't really that's really high for me, because you did not know the song on your heart. So what happens is you have dreams, but because you don't have a song in your heart, somebody comes along and goes, oh, wow, you're good at management. I'm going to give you a job in management. When really that job in management is not your pitch. It's not your octave. But because you didn't have a song on your heart, this world gave you a song. Now you're trying to figure out why I don't ever sound good, why I don't ever feel good. This is why a definite chief aim is so critical, because if you don't know what you want, the world's going to tell you what you want, and it's never what's best for you. You will always be leveraged. If you don't have a definite chief aim, you will live a life of leverage. You will always be leveraged. That's why it's so critical. What do you want? Say it out loud. Say it out loud. You're like, I don't know, Wanda. Now you know where to do the work. What do you want? I want $100,000 a month, $86,666.66 a month. That's a little over $25,000 a week. What do I have to do? I have to break it down. That's $3,500 a day. How can I make $3,500 a day? What service, what value can I provide to the world? What program can I be in? What can I do? I know my definite chief aim. I already know how I'm gonna spend it. I already know what percentage I'm going to live off, what percentage I'm going to give to interest, what percentage I'm going to give to the church, what percentage I'm going to give to my schools. Why? Because it's the song in my heart, because I know the danger of walking around this world and not knowing the song in my heart. That's your seed. Then your soil, it's grooming it. It's transforming it. It's renewing your mind. It's constantly seeking new information. Let me tell you something. When you look at other creatures, whether it's bacteria all the way up to animals in the animal kingdom, when you look at them, you go, wow, look at them. Look at how they live. Look at how they're living to survive. Oh, wow, an endangered species. Oh, wow. Like we look at every other animal and it's evident and clear that they need to evolve in order to survive. But we forget that about ourselves. We have to evolve in order to survive. We are starting to live longer and longer. Again. Why? There's some evolution happening. Awareness is causing us to live longer. Oh, wow, sugar and salt is not that good for you? Noted. Oh, wow, we shouldn't be smoking cigarettes as children? Noted. Awareness is allowing us to live longer. So we get the reward for evolving. Y'all with me? Some of us are just who we are. There has been no evolution, and we don't know that we're already dead. Even worse, what are you passing on to your children? If you die at 40 because you have no more dreams, no more evolution, no more transformation, no more purpose and value to the human race, what are you teaching your children? We have to evolve. I was watching a video of a 96-year-old woman. I could not believe this woman was 96. She was so witty. She was so on point. Her son started to record her and put her on TikTok. Every single day she gets groomed. She's such a lady. And she has conversations with him that are kind of sassy and funny. And we started to talk about it. I said, her mind is constantly being evolved. She talks about exercising every day. She talks about reading books every day. She doesn't watch the news. She has evolved her mind. When I look at the desires of my heart, I feel like God has wired me to evolve, to bring solutions to the world, and that I am creating my human race, my children, for us to live longer and to have more value in life. So I consider the desire of my heart. And I know that part of it is also here to keep me transforming. Your dreams aren't just silly little dreams so you can have more money. Our brains are wanting new things, creating new things, and moving in the future. And we have to catch up with the body. I believe that we are really starting to see an awareness that we've never seen before. You know, even with my children, there's things I'll say or do, and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, mommy, that is not okay." Really? Let me give you an example. I just want to apologize in advance because it's not that great of an example, but I'm going to tell you. I remember one time I told my daughter to sit down. I said, "Baby, sit down." She was like, "Okay." I said, "Sit down Indian style." And she gasped, "Oh, mommy." I was like, "What?" She's like, "It's called crisscross style." And I said, "Okay, mommy didn't mean no harm." She goes, "You know, mommy, they're Native Americans, not Indians." I was like, "Baby, I know this. Mommy's real about it. I get it." And we were having a conversation. This is just a tiny example. And somebody might say, "Oh, wow, people are getting softer." I say people are becoming more aware. People are starting to realize it ain't all about them. People are starting to want to see past nations and borders. People are starting to love nations they've never stepped in, wanting and feeling things for people they've never met. I believe that our race, our human race, you guys, is moving into a new level of awareness. Come on, we have the most compassionate and thoughtful children we've ever had. Right? Our children know things we didn't know. They think about things we didn't think about. We are moving into a new level of awareness. Are you moving as well? And as you move there, what solutions are you bringing this new level of awareness? I believe that there's a reason that the brain has changed in the last couple centuries. Like we literally, if you guys go look this up, we literally grew an extra brain in front of our brain. Y'all know that? Do y'all know like when you go look at the caveman pictures and their face is kind of like this, slanted and big at the bottom? Did you know it's because that they only had part of the brain and they didn't have a neocortex, that's the newest part of the brain. And so the face started to change. The jaw got smaller. The head got a little bit more bigger. Some of us, the forehead really, really got bigger. Thank you, God. And really, like we're actually changing. We're transforming. Some of us aren't. Based on what you learned in 6th grade biology, what does that mean for you? Some of us aren't changing. Some of us aren't evolving. Just based on science, what does that mean when something or someone does not evolve and move forward? Where's the platypus? Gone. Where's the dinosaurs? Gone. Listen, I've started to have a conviction about grooming intelligence in my home because I believe that intelligence is the future. Imagination is the future. So yeah, you might look at this as, let me get my mindset together and I'm going to, burn my candles and this feels good, but this is not just that. This is literally about making sure that you are in the new world, in a new world. I'm living in a completely different world. I'm aware of things I've never been aware of. Here's why this is important as an entrepreneur. Because when you can dump the shame and the guilt and the excuses and what everyone thinks about you, and you have a new level of awareness, you realize that what God says about you is the truth. When you start to realize that, you start to walk into a courage and a bravery that was not assigned to your old self. So that's the last one, sun, seed, soil, sun. The sun is trusting that I'm going to do the work. I'm going to plant the seed. I'm going to groom the soil, and I'm going to trust that because I'm prepared, because I'm transformed, because I'm renewed, because I've built the skill sets of courage and posture, because I've fought to be the person that I am. All right, now you're next. That's what I believe. I trust. Now, the problem is we want to skip the seed sun part or the seed soil part. And we're like, all right, Lord, I need you to grab this seed out my hand. I need you to put it in the ground. Then I need you to toil it. Then I need you to water it. Come on through, miracle worker. Right? How much of an insult is it? My children sometimes, they like to pretend that they can't do certain things, right? Because they know mommy's gonna scoop in and do it. My 7-year-old is a master at it, you guys. I think he's like, he's either gonna be an amazing leader or he's gonna be a dictator. I can't tell which one. He's that great at it. And he'll be like, mommy, my shoe, it won't go on. And I'm like, it's a crock. Put your foot in the hole. So what happens? I love my baby. But guess what I start to do? I get a little mad. You're capable of doing this. What are you doing? So now I say, listen, I love you, but if you keep acting that way with your shoes, you're going to see mommy leave you next time. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to leave. I have no choice but to leave you behind because you've proven yourself not ready for the ride, even though I love you, even though I know you're going to cry when I leave, even though I know you're probably going to cry the whole time I'm at the grocery store. But you got to realize and you got to see, I'm not playing with you. When I taught you at 2 and 3 years old how to do that, we're not going backwards. We got to learn new things. Now we got to get shoes with shoestrings so you can tie it, but we're not even there yet because this is what you're doing. So I love you, but your little sister's already dressed and ready to go out the front door. So we're headed out. And I consider myself a good parent. And still, I know God loves me more than I love my children. So how much more would he require that I use everything he's put in me? And I wonder, have I ever made him angry? Just a little. Come on now, you got that in you. I brought you amazing mentors. Fatima, I showed you how to do this. Andre, you've done harder things. I've already showed you I love you. But if you don't get it together, I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to move on. I know you're going to be heartbroken. But I bet next time opportunity comes, I bet you'll move with a quickness. And if that's all that happens, then that's good too. I trust the son part of my story. I trust God. But I also know that because he loves me, he is not going to allow me to regress. Not at all. And so I want to ask you, one, do you have a trust? Because if you don't have a trust that all good things can work for your good, that what I want, it wants me to. If you don't have a trust that it will work out for you, I get why you're not doing no activity. I get it. Because the last thing you want is to do all that hard work and get here and be abandoned. And say, see, I knew God was good. I just knew he wouldn't be good to me. Some of you are self-preserving by not trying. Because you're scared that you're going to do it. You're scared that you're going to do it hard, that you're going to really work. You're scared that you're going to give up the sleep and you're going to sacrifice the time. You're scared that you're going to go all in. And what if it doesn't work? What if I don't really got it? And so what happens is, so you self-preserve by just staying right over here and you go, well, at least I could see my seed. At least I could see it. And so what I'm asking you to do is to make a decision to do it anyway, to try anyway. What I'm asking you to do is to put massive activity into the things you say you want, and to watch and to trust that it will work for your good. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you in this moment to abandon your thinking and to trust mine. I know it's bold, but I have a testimony. And my testimony is that I've had moments where I've went hard and I did it and I put everything into it and I gave it my life. And there were some times that it didn't pan out the way I wanted. But that's not the end of the story. See, you think that's the end of the story. That's why you stop. What I've learned is that all things work for my good, even the pullbacks, even the valleys, even when I lose it all. You know, the most amazing thing that ever happened to me as an entrepreneur, I lost it all. We lost it all. We lost it. My children were packing up their own boxes and filling up a U-Haul. My children had questions about what school they would go to. How can they say hello to their friends? Are they ever going to see them again? And the entire time, all I could think of is, you don't even know how close to not having a place to live we are. And you're worried about your friends. But of course, you don't tell kids that. I have lost it all. And in that season, I wanted everything but to hear that God was going to come through. I wanted to hear anything but that, because in my mind, I had lost it all because he didn't come through. But really, I'm so grateful we didn't stop there, because here's what we learned. The gift was not making it. That wasn't the gift. The gift wasn't, we made money doing X, Y, Z. That wasn't the gift. I'm so grateful, because the gift was, it got completely stripped away from us and we were down to zero. When we started this company, the people that we wanted in position first didn't have the money either, because they also were hurting. And my husband and I literally used the last of our money. We emptied our bank account. We actually went negative, locking positions for our top leaders. I remember having a conversation with my husband. He's like, they need to sign someone up, but they also don't got the money, babe. Like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, we're already negative. We're already don't got it. We already overdrafted to get that person in position. What are we going to do? Down to zero, guys. And do you know what the gift was? Do you know what I'm so excited about? Do you know what God showed me? But I had to put myself out when I didn't feel anything. When I'm like, where's the floor? Hold up, where's the floor? You're telling me to take a step and I don't feel anything. In that moment, I took a step, because what was chasing me was scarier than what was ahead of me. And so in that moment, I took a step. And you know what the greatest gift I learned is? I could lose it all and I'm gonna get it right back. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that. I believed that what we had was so perfect and orchestrated so perfectly that there was no chance that not even God could make this happen again for us. That it was so perfect. There were tiny details that had happened that had blessed us. How could you recreate that? That was a miracle. We were in a miracle. But that wasn't the miracle. The miracle was never what was external. The miracle was always what was right here in that imagination, inside that seed. The miracle is not the sun and the seed. The miracle is the seed. How are you treating your miracle? And it was in that season, you guys, when we lost everything. So embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. My girlfriend had to use her food stamp card to put food in our fridge. I was so embarrassed. I was so broken. I had a turkey given to me for Thanksgiving. I was so embarrassed. Thank you, God. Thank you. Because what happened next was a fire was placed in our belly. And we just worked. It's what we did. And in 60 days, you guys, we went from having someone buy our groceries to $10,000 a month in income in this company. The miracle was that I proved to myself that I could lose it all and I could gain it all right back. The miracle is that I always said I trusted that God had good things for me. And as he was ripping stuff away, I was like, I don't know about you. The miracle is that it came all right back again. And I am not proud to say it, but I am human and I'll say it. I trust God, not because my faith was so strong, but because how he proved himself to me over and over again when I didn't believe. And so I want you to borrow my bravery and my courage and even my trust if you must. Because what I've learned is that if I lose it all, I'll get it right back. Because the mind has been transformed. It has been renewed. I see possibilities everywhere I go. There's times I come up with radical business ideas that I can't even pursue because I don't have the time, and I give them to somebody else. I need you to understand that an entrepreneurial journey is really about taking that step when you can't feel the ground. You separate yourself from the masses by saying, I'm going to take the next step. Oh, there it is. There it is. And that's exactly what it is. You determine what part you need to work on. Is it the seed? Do you even have a definite chief aim that you can rattle off your heart? It's a song in your heart. Is it the soil? Are you really doing the activities that can transform and renew your mind? Are you going to the trainings? Are you reading the books? Are you on every call? Your heart has to be told that it's chasing something. Does it even know? Can it even tell? And then trusting that somehow when I do the work, when I really do it, and I'm not trying to scheme off the top, I know my upline thinks I'm doing the work, but that don't count because I can't give you any miracles. Okay. So it ain't about what I think about you. Death to that. I think you're valuable no matter what, whether you're 2 and free 000 or you're chairman 750. I know the value is in you. What do you know about you? You got to do all the work. You got to do the transformation. You got to do the renewal. You got to get into that garden with passion. And when people see the fruit, when they see the flowers, it's not just fruit. It's not just flowers. It's not just the house. It's not the car. It's not the debt-free. It's the hours of my life you see in that garden. I'm not better than you. It's the hours of my life you see. So when you like the things that you see in my life and you praise me for holding the mic again on stage and for whatever it is that you see, I just want you to start saying it different. It's the hours of my life that you see. Please don't discount my hard work. I need you to see the hours of my life. And I need you to see that the miracles are working in the background. And just like I pass by that woman's yard every day, and I'm so impressed, not because it's flowers and trees, because I see hours of her life. I want to drive by your life, and I want to see the hours of your life. Here's the truth. Whatever you're living right now is a representation of the hours of your life. Don't be mad at me. I got to tell you the truth. If you don't like your situation, it's the hours you put in to be in that situation. You get to change it. You get to change it. You can change it. So how are you going to change it? Seed. Definite chief aim. Say it every day to yourself out loud. I'm so happy and grateful now. I make over $100,000 a month, over $1 million a year. I have multiple nonprofits. I have schools. I see somebody hurting and I can bring a solution. My parents are debt free. My in-laws no longer work. I have more than enough. I have multiple properties. I can send people to go stay somewhere for a week so that they can get their mental right and they can love on themselves. I bring solutions everywhere I go. So many people want to do business with me. I have to say no to 90% of what comes across my table. I speak about it because it's the song of my heart. So what is your heart saying? Your seed, your soil, and then the sun. The sun. The trust, the knowing that when I put in the work, that this world has no choice but to bend because it's already been claimed as mine. I love you guys. My Instagram went off. Listen, I love you guys. I know this business intimately. I know a lot of your businesses intimately. And I want you to make this so much more than I'm building something. I'm building to a rank. It's got to be so much more than that. It was never about a rank for me, because that was still a language that was foreign. I didn't really understand network marketing, even though I was in network marketing. What it really was is I wanted to live in my full potential. You know, I used to get the biggest insult I ever got was, man, you have so much potential. I had a high school principal, Miss Montalongo, graduated from Columbia University. She was like the example to me of like a boss woman. She was my principal from 6th grade, 7th, all the way up till I graduated. And I remember her pulling me into her office right around 10th grade. And I'd never been in her office before. And I was, doing silly things like not tucking in my shirt, not wearing my badge, getting to class late, little things like that. And she sat me down and she was like, you are so beyond your years, but you keep acting like everyone else. And you're going to keep hearing, you have potential, you have potential, you have potential. But that's all you're ever going to hear is that you have potential. And when she said that to me, I got a little upset. Like, excuse me, woman? What? And then as I walked back to class, I really thought about what she said. And the reason I was angry is because it was true. I knew at that age that I had a lot of potential. But I also knew that if I wasn't sacred with it, if I didn't behave accordingly, if I didn't act different than everyone else, because I knew I was different deep on the inside, I knew that potential was like dust, that it would never count. And I looked around my life, the hood that I lived in, the little raggedy school that I was a part of, the city buses that I rode everywhere on. And I looked around and I realized that's not what I wanted. And for just a half a second, I thought to myself that perhaps I could have something different. That maybe all the things that consume my imagination could be real. With no trust, I didn't have the trust part. I just thought maybe I could have something different. And so it was in that year that I really had a shift, because I was so scared to stay where I was. So I started to just be differently. Join different clubs, get away from the friends I was hanging out with. I was terrified of staying the same. That was my motivation to use my potential. I need you to be terrified of staying the same. And the way that you're going to be terrified of staying the same is I need you to taste a reality that is for you, a probability that exists that really can be yours. And I need you to be intimate with it and to see it and to make it your definite chief aim, so that when you open your eyes and you're here, you go, I'm not even supposed to be here. This is uncomfortable. This 1-bedroom apartment, this this debt on my shoulders, this vehicle that barely can get me where I need to be, this relationship that's rotting. This ain't my life. Where's my Rolls Royce? I need you to be like that. But the only way you're going to be there is by making it your absolute definite chief aim. And yes, allow it to consume you, because the truth is the reality you're in right now is already consuming you. So why don't you pick what consumes you? And when you get so intimate and so clear with that vision that you know what you want, you're not going to have questions like, how do I invite my cousin? It doesn't matter, because you know what you want. So that's going to give you the posture to speak the way that you need to speak. That's it. That's why this is important. That's why mindset is everything. That's why your definite chief aim, your mindset, and the atmosphere and the trust that you put out into God, it matters so much, guys. And I want you to believe in yourself. I think some of you are comfortable being where you are, and you're like, no, I don't like this pain. I didn't say you like the pain. I said you're comfortable with it. You're kind of like this, well, this is it. This is kind of the life. This is it. I need you to be scared of that reality. I need you to be terrified that all you will see, have, do is what you have right now. Be scared of it. Be terrified of it. You know, we make a little bit of a joke in my house. I have 2 dining rooms, but I have 1 dining room table. And every time I go buy another dining room table, I'm like, this is not fun. Like, I just don't have no desire to buy a dining room table. And part of it is because I don't really live here. I live here and I'm grateful. This is a beautiful home, but this ain't where I'm supposed to be. Why am I decorating a place I'm not supposed to be? Why am I hanging up new pictures on a place that I'm ready to move out of? I have moving boxes in my garage, ready to move. I don't have a house to move into yet. I just know this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm uncomfortable here. I need you to get uncomfortable quick, faster, bigger, and say yes to a reality that you've seen. I know you've seen it. I just need you to see it a whole lot more. You guys, we're moving into the last quarter of this year. Let me tell you how this is going to work, okay? I've been in this industry so long. Here's what people are going to do so you can avoid it. We're going to have a little bit of a bull run. September, October, we're going to have a bull run all the way up until November, and it's going to be exhilarating. And then right around Thanksgiving, people have convinced themselves that the creator of our universe is impressed with their holidays. And so they put everything into these holidays. They go into debt for them. They have unrealistic expectations for them. And they create this world that consumes them, that entertains them for like a good 45 to 60 days. Okay. And if you're Puerto Rican, like 75 days. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And so what you need to do, leader, is you need to be prepared for this. Ask people what they want now. Ask them what they want for December and January now, in August. Be clear what they want. They don't know what they want. They're not going to think about what they want until they have a coach like you asking them. Create your army now. I know who I'm working with till the end of the year. I know who shows up to the events. I know who's doing the work without me. I know who I'm working with already for the end of the year, and new people coming into my business. So what is your, from now to the end of the year, going to look like? Because what's going to happen is you're human. You're going to get distracted too. Because I love holidays. I'm such a festive person. It gets out of control. And so what I do is I tell myself, this is how I'm participating. This is what I want. And then honestly, I consider what I want my great-great-grandchildren to duplicate. So if there's any behavior that I don't want my great-great-grandchildren to duplicate, I don't start it in my home. In essence, big gifts, over-the-top gifts. You are not the savior of the world, right? Like, this ain't your birthday. So we are modest and we fill the day with love and time together. And we're grooming adults that are going to do the same thing, because I want my legacy to be debt-free and to not be manipulated by consumerism. I want my children to be intelligent. I want them to use this season to give to other people and not just to themselves and think about what they want. So we use these holidays to create a reality for our kids that we want them to perpetuate. Some of us are trying to make up for what we didn't have as a kid. And what's going to be the problem is you're going to have a whole generation of people constantly making up for what they didn't have. At what point do we stop? Right? Like at what point can we stop? So I want you to be thoughtful about this season we're going into. Really consider what you want it to look like and then execute it. Boss up. Boss up. Now. Don't wait for the courage to come. The courage comes when you're doing it. The posture comes when you're doing it. The certainty comes when you're doing it. There's no way to prepare you. You got to do it. That activity is how you groom yourself to be great. Just do it. Do it messy. Do it messed up. Do it wrong. It's okay. I love you. I believe in you. There is greatness in you. There is solutions in you. Amazing, amazing leaders are attracted to you. They really are. You are a Chairman 1000 already. It's done. I believe it. If you are on this call and you can hear my voice, I want you to be in agreement with that. And then I want you to do the work and to get it done. You guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I know this was a little long, but I really wanted to go through these notes with you, what I've been thinking about, what's on my heart, and what I want you to have. I want you to be certain. I want you to have trust. I love you. I need you to move radically in this season. It's get uncomfortable with me. Get uncomfortable with me. Because I'm not staying at this rank. I'm so sick of seeing $6,250 come into my bank account every week. I know you're like, dang, I wish I could be there. I get it. I'm so tired of it. I'm so sick of that, you guys. I'm ready for something else. I'm leaving that and I'm moving into something else. Move with me. I love you guys. I'm grateful for you. It's already done. Move in this posture you have right now inside your body, inside your cavity. Move with this. When you get off this call, write down your task list for the day, for the week, for the month, so we can win the day, the week, and the month. I love you guys. Randy, back to you guys. I appreciate you. Actually, I could close this out right here.